For the past 75 years, the food guide has been about more than just health and nutrition, but shaped by the undertones of politics.
Ralph has decided that it must be lots of milk which has given Linda such a bright smile.
Ever since Health Canada revealed its newest draft of Canada's food guide, health experts and the public were quick to praise its commitment to revamping the guide based on evidence and science. The draft suggests it will address food allergies, cultural differences in eating habits, and will encourage plant-based diets, which scientific research continues to show is the best way to stave off heart disease and diabetes. But this begs the question, why is this only happening now? Shouldn't the government's guide to healthy eating have always been about evidence-based policy? Yes, and here's why it matters. A quarter of Canadians suffer from obesity, a rate that continues to rise rapidly across the country. The food guide has been a tool to tackle such large numbers and is used by schools, daycares, and healthcare facilities. It's the most downloaded federal document, second only to tax forms. Yet, the most recent version of the guide from 2007 was heavily criticized by health experts from the very beginning, who claimed it was too lax on processed foods and sugar, there was too much emphasis on eating dairy and meat, and ultimately not enough science backing it up. How did that happen? Over the decades, Health Canada has promised the public healthier food guides only to cave in to lobby groups and their business interests. The tradition started in 1942 after Canada joined the war effort. During the Great Depression, malnourishment was widespread, with 60% of Canadians not getting enough nutrients, and many war recruits were rejected for medical reasons. The government responded with a series of steps to improve the Canadian diet, including implementing Canada's official food rules. The document defined healthy eating with the goal of strengthening young men to march into battle. At the same time, the food rules were a way to discourage Canadians at home, who were mostly women, from eating the food that needed to be exported for the war effort. Households had to use substitutions and make do with less. In 1944, the guide was updated to reflect pre-war meal sizes. Canadians were encouraged to eat 4 to 6 slices of buttered bread a day and at least 1 daily serving of potatoes. Overall, the focus was on eating greater quantities, with a few exceptions. The government had to stop recommending weekly servings of organ meats due to its limited supplies. The guide recommended drinking more milk, but then retracted that advice in the next iteration of the food rules after the Department of Agriculture voiced concerns of a dairy shortage. Worldwide food shortages and an increasing understanding about the effects of overeating factored into the next set of food rules released in 1949. The guide made it clear that more was not always better. The years that followed didn't see many updates until another so-called overhaul in 1992, when the food guide was renamed to Canada's Food Guide to Healthy Eating. However, it didn't make it through its second draft without food industry groups protesting it. To appease the Canadian Meat Council, the Canadian Egg Marketing Agency, and the Dairy Bureau of Canada, Health Canada upped the daily recommended meat and dairy servings, which many nutritionists agreed was far too much for a balanced diet. Another one? For the 2007 version of the food guide, Health Canada appointed a food guide advisory committee, with 4 of its 12 members being big food representatives. As Yoni Freedhoff wrote, "I can't think of anyone with greater conflicts of interest in the creation of a food guide than the folks who sell and promote the food." This time around, Health Canada is vowing to keep business and political interests away from a new food guide. Dairy Farmers of Canada was quick to express their concern already.
They provide 6 of the 8 nutrients that are often lacking in the diet. They definitely deserve to remain in the food guide and to be also a separate food group.
There's still plenty of time for lobbyists to influence policymakers and, in turn, what Canadians eat, as they have for the past 75 years. Don't they know by now not to bring politics to the dinner table?